Cardio is the most demoralizing because you're running every morning in the academy, and when it gets you, you get that stitch in your side, you start breathing heavy and the distance is so far away. It's just so demoralizing. It was the hardest thing for me was cardio. This is Corey Jones with the Be Ready with Safety Man podcast. Join us every week for a new podcast. Follow us everywhere podcasts are played and on YouTube, Be Ready with Safety Man. This is Corey Jones.
All right, let's go, man. Let's do it. Welcome back.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Safety Man podcast, Safety Man Consulting. I, of course, am Corey Jones, the co-host of Safety Man Consulting and the CEO of SafetyMan.co. All your safety needs, active shooter crisis management, verbal de-escalation, firearms training, anything you need to do to keep you safe, bowler wrap, resiliency, everything to keep you safe and going. Anthony, what do we got on the list today first?
All right, so we're going to start from like the beginning of law enforcement work back many years ago for me and many even more years ago for you.
Yeah, back on horseback.
We're going to talk a little bit about physically getting ready for the police academy.
Yeah.
A lot has changed in the world, but physical fitness is still very important. And when it comes to that kind of stuff, it's pretty much the same. You got to be in shape. You got to be ready to move. So we're going to talk about a couple different things to mentally get you ready, physically get you ready for that.
Yes.
First thing, if you decide that you're going to wait till the week before the academy to start working out,
Too late.
That is not the plan to get ready for the academy.
No, in fact, I know somebody who just tried. It kind of snuck up on the person for a local academy. They're not chief's test, so they can hire anybody. And they went. They unfortunately did not pass even the first part, the 300-meter run. It was really demoralizing, but at the end of the day, it was actually motivating because I was able to connect that person with a studio. And, all kidding aside, and in full disclosure, my wife is a personal trainer and a fitness instructor. So I hooked this client up with my wife to get this person ready to be able to pass this test. And my wife has full confidence that this client will be able to pass the test the next time one comes around.
So just to break it down, so like I said, it's a little confusing, the chief's test versus civil service test, but most police departments, and I would say in a lot of other states, require some kind of physical fitness test to get in.
Yes.
Now, most of them, I'm just going to throw out some generics there. Most of them are going to make you run the mile or the mile and a half. Mm-hmm. Okay. And they're usually going to make you run between about 12 to 15-minute range for that time. That's a very generic standard.
Right.
300-meter sprint.
Yep.
You're going to get. You're going to have so many push-ups in like a minute or two, so many sit-ups in a minute or two you're going to have to accomplish.
Exactly.
The one that I am not a fan of that's out there is the vertical jump. I think that one needs to be tossed.
Yeah. This isn't basketball, right?
Yeah, so some of them I see out there vertical jump, and I'm like, man, like I'm short. So, I mean, I was able to do the ones that I went to. Barely. I passed those. But that's the only one that I'm kind of a little discouraged about. But, when it comes to like push-ups and sit-ups, that's a standard. Like, it doesn't matter how big or tall or small you are, like a push-up and sit-up are standard.
Yeah. This isn't NFL combine, right? We're training to be police officers.
So if you've never done a bunch of push-ups, if you've never done a bunch of sit-ups, thinking that you're just going to wake up and go wing it, you're going to learn very quickly that is a huge mistake.
Yes.
Preparing beforehand, I would say the biggest thing, in my opinion, is cardio.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, you got to do all three of the triangles: nutrition, cardio, and strength training. But yeah, you definitely, cardio is the most demoralizing because you're running every morning in the academy, and when it gets you, you get that stitch in your side, you start breathing heavy and the distance is so far away. It's just so demoralizing. It was the hardest thing for me was cardio. Okay. I picked things up, I put them down.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot of, you see a lot of really big, heavy weightlifters, and they think like, I'm strong. I'm just going to be able to go in there and crush it. Mm-hmm. But when you get in the academies, most of them are cardio based.
Yes.
And so if you're not running almost every day to prepare for the academy, and I'm not talking about you got to run a marathon every day. I'm talking just get up, run a mile, run a mile and a half, every day. It doesn't have to be a complete sprint, but just get out there running every day to prepare for the academy. One, you're going to start losing some weight. You'll start getting some better shape. You'll get your breathing up, but you'll be prepared. Here's a little quick tip I'm going to throw out there, and I learned this the hard way, is that make sure that you maybe look up a review on the sneakers that you're going to buy for the academy for running.
Yes, and wear them, break them in. Don't have them the
Yes.
first day out of the box because your feet are going to get blistered. You're going to get murdered. Wear them, run in them. If you don't like them, take them back. They have shoe stores that will actually measure your gait, measure the way your feet land, and you can get, they're professionals, and they will teach you exactly what shoes, whether to get Brooks, whether to get Asics, whether to get Nikes, or whatever they are. They're shoes, and they're professionals that measure your feet and the way your running is and how your feet land to give you the best shoe with the best support for you to do that.
Yeah, because I bought a decent pair of Nikes, but I didn't really look up too much about them. I was like, oh, they're running shoes, they're Nikes, they're $85. Mm-hmm. I'm grabbing them. They were destroyed in like 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. They were literally almost. I think my feet like came out of them, and I was like, all right, I got to get a new pair.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Investing a good pair or maybe a few pairs of sneakers, because the other thing too is that you're going to be running in the rain. Depending on the winter, you might be running in the snow, depending where you're at in the country. Mm-hmm. So having shoes that are backup for the next day that are dry, because sometimes you're not getting home till late if you're not sleeping there. Right. So having an extra pair and set ready for the next day to go. So you come home and you're exhausted and you're like, oh man, I got to go throw my shoes in the dryer, try to get them dry and do all this. Have an extra set. You know, if you're going to buy a pair for $50, maybe buy a second pair.
Yeah.
But that is like one little tip that I'm going to throw out there. Don't go like super cheap or like you've had the shoes for 6 years and you're like, they're good enough, because they're not going to last.
Especially not for the test, because your nerves are going to be up. For that test, there's 2 tests that are really going to have your nerves up. That initial one to get you into the academy or to get you further in the process to make it to the oral interview and then the test and all that. And then that first day in the academy, that PT test to see what your baseline is. So to go on your point, which was a fantastic point, is they make sneakers that are good for running on just regular dry ground, and then they make those kind of off-road sneakers. Yeah. So that'll help you in that inclement weather. They have a little bit more tread on them. They're a little bit more water resistant. They'll keep your feet dry. And then all those little psychological things and physical things will help you manifest your best performance when you're going forward trying to get into that police academy.
Ask what the PT test is, because they're not surprises. They will have them on their website. They will sometimes they'll just give you a piece of paper or they'll send you an email. It will literally say what you have to do.
Yes.
So get that as early as you possibly can. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they have those like familiarization or like open house nights at the academy or the police department. That is a good question to ask. Hey, what is required of the PT test?
Yes.
And do you have an example where we could see that so I could start working on those things? Mm-hmm. Because getting accustomed to that is going to be really beneficial to do that.
Yeah, and train yourself to about 15 to 20% higher than what the goal is. So if the goal is a 15-minute mile and a half, train yourself to get that down to 14 minutes so you can have that window. So if you get that cramp, you get that stitch, something happens, you fall down, your shoe's untied, whatever happens, you're trained mentally knowing that I got this. I've already accomplished it, and I accomplished it with an extra minute buffer. So if it's 50 push-ups, train to 60, 65 push-ups. If it's 50 sit-ups, train about 15 to 20% more than that. That way you're giving yourself that mental and physical window to be able to do it. And you never know. You come out and you max that test, your name's going to be up higher on the list of somebody else.
Oh, 100%. They're going to look and they're going to see who the stud athletes are going around. They're going to see who the people are that are winded and they're in the back. I mean, you're going to stand out like a sore thumb. So here's the thing. If you're not the all-star, you at least don't want to be the person in the back, right? Like blend in the middle. Like that's if you're not going to stand down and be the number one, it's so I say if you're not first, you're last, but you don't want to be anywhere near the end.
Yeah,
okay?
Stay under the radar is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Pass everything, stay under the radar. Don't raise your hand, stay under the radar. That's the mistake I always made. I raised my hand for everything.
You were that guy.
I was that guy.
You were that guy. Oh, geez, here we go. Another question.
I'm going to blow sunshine on my butt just for a little bit, Anthony. In my police academy, I got the shooting award and I got the academic award in my academy.
Well, there you go.
Because my director of public safety who hired me goes, Officer Jones, nothing would give me greater pleasure than to present you with the award for academic excellence. I said, I'll get that for you, sir. Just as matter of factly, like I goes, okay. And I did.
Congrats. Nice.
Because I tried.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. I'm not just a pretty face.
There you go. Yeah. I did well though. No, I'm actually a pretty good runner. So I hate running. I absolutely hate it. But I was with the rabbit group, as they called us. So we got stuck. The problem is once I got into the rabbit group, they made you stay in the rabbit group. So there was there was no slacking off at that point. You were stuck with the same 9 guys every day running in the front. So then it became like an alpha male thing because you didn't want to be the last of the 9 guys. So
so even that became a contest.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, so just to bring the point. So one of the things that I did personally to train, I mean, I was already working out. I was already playing sports and like rec sports in college and staying pretty fit, playing hockey, different things.
Yeah.
One of the things I started doing was I started running everywhere. Okay. So like, for example, I went to the grocery store. I parked all the way in the back and I would run up. I would go somewhere. I would park. I would run all the way
I'm
up.
sure that didn't look weird.
No, it probably looked crazy. But I for that summer, getting ready for the month or two before I went into the academy there, I literally just ran everywhere. It's like I would have to go to the store or like go downtown. I would run. And so I just started getting in the habit of running more and more to prepare mentally and physically for the academy. So
that's great. That actually is good because it, again, like you're saying, you're building up that tolerance. You're finding out where your weak points are. You know, if you have shin splints, I actually just found out just the other night that some shin splints can be alleviated via acupuncture.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. So my client, I have really good high hopes for this person. I think when the next test comes around, and if they stay with the Orange Theory Fitness program, which trains you on endurance, power, and speed, power, endurance, they train you in all those different things to get you ready for that. So it's going to help you do pull-ups. It's going to help you do push-ups. It's going to help you run, and the 300-meter run for the speed and the long distance run. So it's going to power. That's the one it was. Endurance, power, and speed. ESP.
Yeah, and so I think certain things, like, I don't want to say you're wasting your time in the gym because you're not, but like, again, focus what you're training for the academy. Like, doing a bench press of 300 pounds is great, but that's not the same as doing 45 push-ups in under a minute. Like, they're completely two different muscle sets, even though you're like, well, I'm bench pressing, this is completely different.
Yeah, your body's working in different fast twitch, slow twitch muscle fibers, and it's different. It's a different thing. Plus, you have a little bit of cardio involved in there too. There's a lot of YouTube videos on there. We might be able to actually link to some in there that actually show you how to train to get better at pull-ups, better at push-ups, better at sit-ups, better at the 300-meter run, and better at the mile-and-a-half run that show you how to do that. Because you want to space those things out. The day you're not running is the days you want to be focusing on that upper body strength and the flexibility. You want to make sure you have the triangle, the exercise, the diet, and the recovery. You have to recover, okay? You have to recover.
Two of the things I was going to say real quick. One, you got to start eating right before you get into the academy. You got to start, because here's the thing, your body, I don't know what the academies are exactly now, but I know mine was about 6 months, give or take.
Yeah, still about that.
About the same, right? You're going to be training hard, and if you've never done sports, right? Because I see a lot of these people that are like, I just want to be a cop, but they don't do sports, they don't do anything physical. Now you're going to put your body through 6 months of just pounding away at it. If your body's not nutritionally ready for that, like you're not... go out, get protein shakes. Go out, get some protein bars. Our academy was real good with allowing us to bring that stuff in. I know some are very strict about what you can bring in to eat. Ours is really open to bringing in protein shakes, protein snacks. As long as they thought it was decent, like it wasn't a Kit Kat bar.
And hydrate.
They were very open to that. So like in lunch, we were mixing up our protein shakes, drinking them at lunch. And then the other thing too is sleep, right? Like your body's gonna need it. So if you got kids, if you got a wife, if you got or a husband, and you're planning on going on date nights and stuff, like these are the conversations you're gonna have to sit down and say, listen, for these next 6 months, I have to have this kind of schedule, which means I have to be in bed by 9:30 or 10 o'clock. I need my 7-8 hours of sleep to get up, because if not,
you're going to fail.
You're not going to last. You might go a month or two, but then one day your body's just going to go, okay.
Plus you have homework. There's academic portion of it too. And there's an emotional portion too, because they aren't this while it's not Marine Corps boot camp, this also is not the Boy Scouts. They are trying to test to see that you can handle people getting in your face, that you can handle somebody calling you a name, not being, aggressive and using racism or anything like that, but trying to get under your skin to see where your breaking point is. Because if you can't stand up for yourself in the scenarios and actually be assertive, or if you break down when the instructors are calling you out and talking about the wrinkles in your uniform, or why are you last for the 5th day in a row in the run, and you start to cry and do that, how are you going to respond out on the street when somebody is in your face calling you a name? So that's the reason why these police academies are somewhat modeled after the military academy.
And I think I said it before, and when we had the Marines actually come on our old podcast a while back. I can't say that I'm a Marine, right? I can't say that I went to the Marines, but what I can say is that the best trained me, because literally my physical fitness trainer, the head trainer, the firearms trainer, they were all Marines. So I got this secondhand smoke from them. You know what I mean? I got that taste of it. So I can't say I'm a Marine. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that, that are very respectful that I got trained under, and I'm very appreciative to see a piece of that. So you're going to get... You're not going to get an easy road. A lot of these guys are military. A lot of these guys have been through some serious things in life. So for some 22, 23-year-old kid to come in, straight out of college, they're going to eat you alive if you're not at least got a head on your shoulders that's, mentally ready to go.
Exactly. And there's probably about a 30 to 40% dropout rate too.
Yeah.
And my client was telling me that about 40% of people didn't even show up for the test that they signed up for. Just, I don't know if they got scared in the morning or if their alarm didn't go off, but 30 to 40% of people didn't even show up. And then there were people dropping like flies that couldn't complete it. So make sure you're ready. It's not that hard. If I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Because I got 2 herniated discs, and if you see me running, get in your car because the apocalypse is right behind me.
So back to the academy.
Back to the academy. Yeah, I drifted off a little bit there.
That's
sorry.
Right. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I have for mental. I want to do in the future, if you guys are watching this, talking about the tests and the different aspects of if you're a civil service, or you have a chief's test, or how it goes. A lot of them, they might be different, but there's a lot of basic stuff along the same lines, and we'll talk about that. I want to do a future podcast about that, so make sure that you guys subscribe and like this channel so that you will see these future topics. And then also, I want to throw it out there. We've had a couple good suggestions. If you guys have suggestions for us, please either drop a comment below, or you can email Corey on his website.
Safetyman.co.
Yeah. Go on there, safetyman.co. That is his company, and you can ask him a million questions, and he's really good at getting back to you guys about that stuff.
When Anthony reminds me.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, Corey, you got to answer this. Oh,
yeah, sorry, my bad.
But
we're a team.
But anyway, if you have any more questions about Physically Fit, about the academy, that was just a raw overview we wanted to throw out at you. But please reach out. Let us know.
And just to recover, again, a recap, train, plan, find out, do your research, figure out what it is, give yourself that buffer, 10, 20% better than what is expected or written down on that piece of paper. If they say you got to do this thing, be able to do everything on that piece of paper about 20% better to give yourself that window, okay? I don't know if you want to be part of the rabbit group. If you do, that's great, but you just want to make sure you pass and you're more comfortable, more relaxed when you're able to do it, okay? Because being a police officer is very physically taxing, okay? That first fight you get into when someone's trying to take your gun or take your life, you need to be able to defend yourself, and being physically fit is very important to be able to do that.
100%. All right, guys, thank you, and make sure you subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.
Smash that subscribe button.
Peace.